Good evening. Just a short clip on race issues. So it seems like the Democrats out there are having troubles comprehending this issue. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, what you have here are minorities, a lot of African Americans claiming that they're not treated fairly. Now you have in the past and you have today, which are two separate issues. We have to address what's going on today, not in the past, where Democrats have lagged on those issues. But as of today, you have inappropriate issues, sometimes concocted stories, this or that. But I'm not going to deny that bad things happen to minorities, and we'll get to where I'm going with this in a second. So where they're wrong, though, is where it comes to someone else. So, take a white person like myself. They do not know what happened in their life. They can't know. It's impossible. So that's where they're wrong. Is you can't speak on behalf of somebody else. You don't know what somebody else went through, like what a white person went through. You don't know. We could spend an hour on here what I went through. So that's where they're wrong on this issue. You can't just say, oh, I think African Americans are treated fairly by the banks with housing discrimination. You don't know what somebody else did, so you can't just say, oh, it's not happening to someone else. In fact, I know white people that couldn't get car loans. So you can't speak on behalf of everybody. And that's where they're wrong on these issues. And it's akin to the stock market where everybody tries to beat the market. No one ever has, no one ever will. The market horse is extremely fast, really damn fast horse, Spielberg. It's a really fast horse, and you're not going to beat him. He's going to kick your ass. And that's basically what we have going on here. The market horse is betting on good over evil. And the Democrats are not going to beat that horse. They're going to try and continue to beat it. They're never going to beat it. And that's what we have going on here. The market horse is good. He will always beat evil, or at least the majority of the time. You've seen the movies. And it's a complicated subject, but that's what you have going on here. And it's hilarious. The Democrats are going to still try and beat that horse. They're never going to beat that horse. It's a good horse. It's a market horse. It represents all races. It will always beat the Democrats' horse who bets on advocating for one race. Even if they were be treating unfairly, you don't advocate for one race. You don't know what somebody else went through. And somebody may be asking, what's the connection between the market horse and race issues? Well, it's basically the key there is good versus evil. Okay. So the market horse is good, represents good people, and that's what you have. It's the same thing on the race issues. In the middle, those people do not believe in discrimination. It's the people on the far left that believe that, and I would criticize people on the far right too for believing that those people are lazy or stupid. So, the argument's in the middle, and that does not support the discrimination claim. So to wrap it up, we have people believing that African Americans are being treated unfairly because of their race. Some of them are, but not just them, white people as well. And you have, you can't speak on behalf of somebody else. And so I myself who believe this is probably the only issue I'm on the, strongly conservative on is the race issues, because this one's crystal clear. We can debate climate change and immigration and all that other stuff, higher, lower taxes, but on race issues, it's, you can't do wealth transfers, so you can't do that. So when you do that, You have right versus wrong. You can't do wealth transfers. So if we could rearrange, if conservatives could stop African Americans from moving up, then Democrats could alter that and fight them back, and it'd be square one. But they're not. They're right back where they are right now. So you have to bet. You have to go with the market force, and the market force says that um, discrimination is not the answer. That's not why they're lagging. So, Democrats are still can try and beat that horse, and they're never going to beat him. So, very complicated. I tried to sum it up. I think the only thing I maybe didn't explain as well is the connection between the market horse and the intuition behind that. It's easy from a financial perspective with the stock market, um, but to tie it into race issues, I think the key is good versus evil, and I think yeah, if you take the middle argument on race issues, that's basically what the market horse is. When they talk about the market, you don't try and pick stuff. You just go with everything, all the information. So the answer there is in the middle, and it's not discrimination. So can't do wealth transfers, and so the market horse will always beat the Democrats on this, and they're going to continue to try and claim discrimination, but they're only screwing over their own people.